Fasten your seat belts, ladies and gentlemen. We have Levon Aronian, man in form right now, winning the BL Masters 2026, taking on the World Championship challenger, another man in form, Javokhir Sindarov. It's USA versus Uzbekistan here in Miami, Florida. This is round number 3 of Rapid. The first round went to USA. They got 2 points. Second round was a draw 2-2. So the score is 3-1 right now in the favor of US. And this is an important matchup. Third round, Sindarov versus Aronian will be very exciting. One can say Javokhir is a small favorite, especially after how he crushed Hikaru in the previous round. Let's see how he does here. Javokhir with the white pieces opens with knight to f3. He opened with e4 against Hikaru, but now knight f3, he plays c4. And Levon, will he play the solid e6? No, he goes for the ambitious d4. Pawn to b4 and c6. This is lesser played. Generally you go f6 or even this aggressive g5 move. Okay, a3 played. Bishop comes out to g4. And one of the idea that black has is to take here and push the pawn to e5. So Sindarov jumps in with the knight to the center. Bishop h5 played. And now do we have the move g4? Well, he first plays bishop b2, not the most accurate move. g4 would have been really cool. But now we can go pawn to f6, kicking the knight away. And Levon does play it. Pawn comes up to f6. If you go back here, then e5, and I think black has a really cool position. So he plays g4. He makes it wild. Bishop goes back, knight would capture it. So fe5, gh5, and the knight comes out to f6. Levon is essentially saying that your pawn is weak, Javokhir. Your bishop is blocked. But Javokhir is like, I have the bishop pair and I'm blasting open the center. e3. e6 played to open up the bishop here. And now rook g1, putting pressure on the g7 pawn. a5 played to hack at this structure. c5, opening up the way for the bishop, also blocking the bishop from taking this pawn. And the knight comes out. It's such a weird game, right? The pieces are coming out on weird squares, not the natural ones, attacking the b4 pawn. And now queen to b3. This is a mistake by Javokhir. He should have gone bishop to c4. And let's say if now here, then ed takes, and queen can come out here. You know, it's active. But once you give your queen this square, it becomes a bit passive as the knight defends it. And now also the h5 pawn is a bit loose. Bishop c4 attacking the e6 pawn. So you can play knight d5, but knight h5 taken. And Levon is essentially telling Javokhir, come and take my pawn on e6. I'm okay with it. So Javokhir takes it, knight takes, queen takes e6, and queen e7, blocking. And the thing is, if you take here, this position is actually very nice for black. So trading queens, although seems like the best chance, it's not an appetizing option. So Javokhir comes back. He's like, let's fight. Now the d4 pawn is a bit loose, but you can't win it because pawn takes, it's a check. Quickly played by Levon, g6, and look at the time difference, 12 minutes for Levon. 5 minutes 58 seconds for Sindarov. Javokhir takes the pawn, ed with a check, king comes to d1, and quickly long castles, defends the pawn here. Naturally you can't take here because there is queen e4, pinning and winning. So you can't take this pawn just yet. Levon is so switched in right now. Rook e1 attacks the queen, queen g5. Coming in, and he's looking at the d2 square. Takes on a5. Sindarov is like, if I can get the move a5, a6 here, I'll blast open the king. But now Levon can have a change in strategy. He takes queen takes c5. The change is very good because look at the white pawns. An endgame is just a disaster. So Javokhir says, let me keep the queens on the board. And he goes check, king b8. And now rook e5, attacking the queen. At this point, Levon has a very tough move, which is queen a7. And the reason this move is tough is because you want to trade queen, so queen d6 comes to mind. It's also a decent move, but he finds queen a7. And the point of it is that bishop g7 hits the rook, a5 is hanging, and all of a sudden, things are just going downhill. Queen c4, Javokhir comes back, but bishop g7, a good move. Rook comes to e7, looking at the bishop, it's protected. I think you can now snatch the pawn on a5. And that's not what he does. He goes rook e8. He's trading off the only active white piece, because the remaining white pieces, look at them, bishop here, knight here, rook here, they are all so bad. He plays a3, maybe to get rook a3 to swing over the rook. Queen takes a5, Levon takes the pawn, bishop d4. And there have to be some tactics happening. Levon takes, queen takes, and now rook d8. If you go far away, there's a mate on d2 that can happen. Well, for now the knight is defending it. There's no queen f4 check, no queen e5 check, so he goes back queen e3. And now knight g7 to f5. Wow. Levon's three pieces are playing with such harmony, while white's queen is playing alone. Look at these two pieces on their initial squares after move 30. Soak that in. And the knight cannot even move because the d2 pawn is too dear to be protected. So he's going for the rook. He brings his rook to a3. Javokhir trying his creative best to save the position. Knight e6, coming into d4 next. Where should the queen go? Well, it goes to h4, eyeing the h7 pawn. And now Levon goes queen to f5, another brilliant move. He attacks the knight, he looks at the f2 pawn, rook b3 defending the knight and eyeing the b7 pawn. Rook d7 defends everything, also takes the rook away. Now queen h3. This time Levon doesn't want to trade, because now the situation is that the king is super weak. So you want to keep the queens. Queen e4 would be excellent. He goes queen d5, which is also a fantastic move. Keeping an eye on d2. Also, queen h1 check can become serious. Queen f3. Now, queen to c4. Yes. Keeping an eye on f1. Sindarov goes rook e3. He has only 15 seconds, while Levon has 8 minutes 52 seconds. Can we jump in with our knight to d4? Because that's just killing. Yeah, knight d4 played. Queen e4. He's keeping the c2 square guarded. Check. King here. Check. King c2. And now the queens are opposite each other. So you can trade queens and go into an endgame. But Levon is like, why should I? King d1. And now rook takes d2. Because if knight d2, queen d2 is a checkmate. Boom, he takes king e1. And finally rook c2. And the b1 knight is hanging. Javokhir now has 49 seconds. Levon has 5 minutes 35 and he resigns. What an insanely good game by Levon. He created so many complications on the board. He had such an unusual position, but he navigated it so well. And that's the reason why Levon is called the artist on the chessboard, because he's able to create scenarios which his opponents can't navigate, and these are the kinds of positions where Levon naturally plays so well.